What's up, everyone, and welcome to the weekly Q&A. Real quick before questions, we have to send a shout out and a thank you to Kenwood, who joined our Patreon at the Jedi Master level this past week. So thank you so much, Kenwood. Your support means the world to us.
We're combining our first two questions into one because Rebecca Chapin asks if Luke will give Din saber lessons while he visits Grogu, and Tyler Shepard wants to know if we'll see Din learn to use the Darksaber in the Book of Boba Fett or the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I kind of hope we save that for the Mandalorian. Like, I really, really liked Chapter 5, but if we spend all of Chapter 6 also focusing on Din, I think that's a mistake. I think we need to get back to Boba Fett's story and deal with all that.
We absolutely need to get back to Boba Fett's story. I'll say never, but I mean, we could see this happen in The Mandalorian. I'm hoping, we don't get too much more Mando story in Boba Fett. But as far as Luke training him with the Darksaber, I don't think we'll see that happen.
I am 50-50 on it. Like, mostly because I feel like the same way I did in The Mandalorian Season 2, where I'm like, I just don't want to lean on the original trilogy characters too much. I don't want, and this is like, I really don't want Luke to take a lot of time and train Din in the Book of Boba Fett, because I'm like, there's so much other stuff to do. Mm-hmm. And The Mandalorian Season 3 is coming. Like, we can focus on that. I'm sure Din is going to be in this story for the Book of Boba Fett, but it can be him tagging along with Boba Fett, and then we'll get back to Din's story and The Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I don't know. The training that he needs isn't really like melee combat, you know? It's not like anyone needs to teach him how to use a sword. It's more that he has to connect with the blade and realize its true purpose and realize his true purpose. Like, it's more mental than anything else.
Yeah, like, the armorer basically explained it to him pretty well. And I think even Luke may not know that much about the Darksaber. You know, it looks like a lightsaber, but it's obviously very different. And if Luke were to intervene, you know, that might change Din's journey. And I would hope that Luke would be like, okay, this sounds like something you need to go off and learn on your own, like I did.
We also don't really know what Luke knows about, like, the intricacies of a lightsaber. I mean, Kanan knew a lot to teach Sabine, but Luke is still fairly new at this whole Jedi thing. I mean, 5 years is a decent amount of time, but he's got no one else. Like, he can help a child learn to control the Force a little better, but I don't know what books he's found, where he's gone. If they say that he's, now a lightsaber expert, I'll be like, cool, I buy that. But I also buy him being like, I still don't really know, like... I don't know that he would consider himself a Jedi Master yet.
He got lucky when he made his green lightsaber.
Well, that's a thing. In Shadows of the Empire, when he turned it on for the first time, he was like, this might explode. And he was worried about it. So he isn't all-knowing right now. It would be interesting to see Din be like, hey, can you tell me about this? And he's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's on you, man. That looks like... not my problem.
Yeah, I got my own things to deal with. Your little toddler is a nightmare.
Oh yeah, you brought me Grogu and now you're bringing me this? Like, go find another muse.
Like, I kind of hope, and we've already talked about this and Molly already got mad at me, but I kind of hope that everything Din visiting Grogu, I kind of want that to happen off screen. Like, he goes and he visits Grogu, he comes back, and then he does everything that Boba Fett needs him to do. And then in Mando Season 3... we can see that. And then, like, all of that stuff, I feel like, has more time to breathe. Like, he can sit down and talk with Luke. That makes a lot more sense to me.
I don't get mad. I understand. Like, we got a lot of Mando in the last episode, and if we get Grogu too, then that's just a lot of overshadowing for Boba Fett.
You were just upset at the idea that Grogu is so close again, and yet... so far.
Yeah, I got a little taste of what it was like to have him back, even just a mention, and then I got excited. Jordan Catley asks how Boba Fett would react to seeing Luke if he goes along to visit Grogu.
I don't think Boba Fett would care, honestly.
Yeah, I don't really think so either. I was thinking about this question, but reversed. Like, how would Luke feel about Boba Fett? But just like seeing that he's obviously not dead, but I don't really know that they knew each other that well.
Yeah, I mean, they would recognize each other, I'm sure. Like, Luke is the only person running around, the only Jedi with a green lightsaber right now. I think Boba Fett would know who he was. He knows the name Skywalker. Luke would certainly recognize Boba Fett, but I don't think Luke is going to be like, oh, he survived, I got to make sure I put him back in the ground.
Mm-mm.
And Boba Fett, I mean, we've seen him seek out vengeance against the Kintan Striders, the speed bikers, but I don't really think he's going to seek out revenge against Luke or Han or any. Like, he seems like he's mostly moved beyond that, unless you mess with his Tuscan tribe.
Mm-hmm. In fact, I think it would be interesting to see, like, Luke learn that Boba Fett is trying to clean things up for Tatooine, and then have them be like, yeah, cool, right on.
Yeah. Like, you're making my home a little bit better.
Yeah.
/ more exciting. You rode a Rancor through the streets? Wow.
Yeah. He could...
I might have stayed if I knew that was going to happen.
He could tell Luke that he ran into his buddies, Fixer and
oh, yeah.
Cammy.
How are Fixer and Cammy doing? They were being beat up? Uh-oh.
Yeah. Lil God wants to know if Din will eventually hire Boba Fett for extra muscle if he ever tries to retake Mandalore.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I don't think that their stories are going to stop intertwining.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. But yeah, kind of like a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of scenario.
You save my planet, I'll help you save yours.
Yeah, especially because, like, this is already kind of like Din owes him one because he helped him before, and now he's like, oh yeah, this one's on the house. I
do think it's funny that Finnick tossed him a bag of coins and he's just like, no, I'll do it for free. I think we joked about that in the live stream, that he's just so desperate for companionship now. He lost Grogu and he's like, I'll do anything you want as long as I get to hang out. Can we hug? I'll be paid in hugs.
Yeah. Aw. Can I just pet the Rancor for a little bit?
But yeah, I think that we can expect that Boba Fett will still be involved in The Mandalorian. Same with Fennec Shand. Same with Ahsoka. I think all of these characters that are in this little Favreau universe, they're going to keep crossing over.
Rick Villanueva asks why Din would go back to the Children of the Watch after all he's been through.
Well, I was just joking about it, but I do think that there is something to be said that that's the closest thing to a family he had. Mm-hmm. He lost Grogu, didn't lose him. Grogu's gone right now. And he's just like, well, I guess I'll go back to my other family, see how they're doing.
Yeah, he had this, like, very direct purpose with Grogu, and then he did that, and now he's like, well, I don't really know what to do with myself now. I guess I'll just go back to what I know, which is being a bounty hunter and being with the armorer.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking that maybe he would move past that stuff because he was hanging around with Bo-Katan, but he never really acted like he did anything more than tolerate them. Like, they were going to help him with Grogu because his goals were aligned with theirs. Like, Grogu's with Moff Gideon, so if you help, same thing. Like, you do me a favor, I'll do you a favor. Mm-hmm. So I don't necessarily think that he has pulled himself all the way out of being a child of the Watch, but he's definitely on his way, I hope.
Yeah, and it's interesting that he might have thought about lying to the armorer about not taking his helmet off, but he didn't. He told the truth. So it's kind of like he needed to go back to them to then be truthful to himself and to them about, like, taking his helmet off so that he can realize that, like, oh, they're a little extreme. I don't know if I want to be, continuing to hang out with them and following their ways.
You talking about him considering lying, where it's like there was a long break of silence
the
there.
The armorer is like,
imagining his face, like, what do I do? And she's like, Din, did you do it?
What if he just, like, looked around and got up and ran off?
And he's like, what did you say? I didn't hear you.
What?
So what?
What's that?
I can't. There's something in my ears.
On to YouTube questions, Matthew Fernandez asks if the High Republic shines a bad light on Yoda since he saw the Jedi losing their way and did nothing about it.
I don't really think so. I don't blame Yoda, because it's not like one day all of a sudden all the Jedi like had a vote and they were like, "Are we going to lose our way now? We going to become slightly worse?" Everyone agreed. Okay, like it was gradual change over the course of hundreds of years.
Mm-hmm. And even Yoda lost his way, kind of.
Right, like he was just part of that. He was just part of the change, and he didn't see it happening. He didn't recognize it. It's not like he was watching it happen and be like, "Oh man, the Jedi are getting worse and worse, and I guess I'll just sit here and let it happen."
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was part of it.
Yeah, you've referred to it as like the slow boil frog in a pot thing.
Yeah, the fable of if you throw a frog into a boiling pot of water, it's going to try to get out. It's going to know something is terribly wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put a frog in water and then like slowly let it boil, it's not going to notice the change because it's gradual.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if any of that's true. I just know it's a fable.
You just thought Yoda, frog, similar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
TC13 wants to know if the Tuscan warrior could have been taken captive by the Pikes instead of killed.
Could have, maybe, but everything I'm seeing in the show, everything I feel like they're communicating to us is no.
Yeah, why would they? I mean, they don't know the bond that, Boba Fett had created with the warrior and the other Tuscans, so I don't see the point of them taking one of them captive. I think they were trying to send a very direct message, and they did that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know that if the Pikes are behind this, which I think is likely, Boba Fett didn't even know that. So it seemed like they were trying to frame the Kintan Striders or work with them, but leave the Pikes out of it.
Mm-hmm.
If they wanted leverage over Boba, I would think they would kidnap a child instead or something. But like, even if they did that, there's no indication that they did. So like, Boba isn't looking for the warrior. It's like, I'm thinking it would be funny if they kidnapped someone and they're like, now we have leverage. What's he doing? Like, he doesn't care. It's been years and he hasn't approached us. So it's like, he doesn't even know. They
don't really need leverage. They already have it just by being the bigger authority on Tatooine.
Yeah. And Boba burned 3 gaffy sticks, the chiefs, the warriors, and the childs. So I think to me, they're saying, yeah, all of the Tuscans are dead, and Boba has to move on.
Alexander asks if we'll ever see Hondo, Zeb, or Kallus in live action.
Anything's possible.
I feel like it's only a matter of time before we see Hondo in live action, because he's one of those characters that could really pop up in just about any story.
Frankly, I'm surprised he hasn't yet.
Yeah, and like, for anyone who has seen like the live animatronic version of him at Galaxy's Edge, it looks incredible. So,
and they have done, technically, he has appeared in live action, because there's like the video recording of him for the ride.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's all makeup and an actor. So they have done live action Hondo. I'm shocked he hasn't shown up in a series. That just seems like a no-brainer for The Mandalorian or the Book of Boba Fett. Like, Boba Fett knows Hondo.
Yeah.
They met in the Clone Wars.
I think it would be amazing if he showed up in Mandalorian, because I feel like with his like swagger and attitude, Din would just not know what to do with him.
Yeah, I feel like he would be a very good and fun foil.
Mm-hmm.
As for the others, I mean, Zeb.
I bet he knows Peli too.
Oh yeah. They probably dated.
Probably dated.
If she dated a Jawa, she definitely dated Hondo.
That's T.
That's T. Zeb seems like a natural fit for Ahsoka, even if it were just like a cameo appearance.
Mm-hmm.
And Kallus could also be in Ahsoka, or could be in Andor, or could be in Kenobi. I think there were, I don't know if these were unfounded or not, but there were rumors that Rupert Grint's character was Kallus. But that could just be wishful thinking and people guessing.
HV wants to know if the Tuscans will come to Boba's aid in the season finale to fight the Pikes.
I could totally see that happening, but I'm also like, we're making a lot of connections to Dune already, and that seems like yet another one.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they're just going to go all in. The Tuscans are going to come in riding a crate dragon.
Yeah. Well, it would be interesting because, like, as far as we know, Boba only knew that one tribe. And I'm sure word travels and maybe they've heard of Boba Fett and, like, what he did with that tribe and what he's trying to do with the towns and stuff. I could see it happening. I think it would be really cool to come full circle and have them come and, like, fight for their land. But I don't know.
Yeah, I can see it going either way. And that's a good point, that it's not like Boba Fett befriended every Tuscan tribe. He befriended one. So they may or may not know of this human that lived among the Tuscans, but you know, there could be like a montage of him going and approaching tribes to muster them as a force against the Pikes.
Ooh, it would be cool, like, if he ran into a different tribe and he had his gaffy stick and they saw that and they understood that that meant that he had previously been part of a tribe and that he was accepted in the community.
Yeah, I mean, that could be... All right, so we've been talking about the fact that he's going back to the armor and he's kind of... The gaffy stick is still around, but he's not wearing the Tuscan robes anymore. He's wearing the armor. That maybe, in order to get the forces he needs, he has to shed the armor, put the robes back on.
Which is what I've been saying.
Yeah.
I've been saying it and saying it.
Like, that could be a fun way for him to do that. To be like, nope, I gotta set aside my past, take up the future I made for myself, and I'm gonna go and talk to the Tuscans and get them to help. Yeah, that makes sense. And that's all the time we have for questions today. If you want to leave a question for next week's video, just put it in the comments below or sign up for Patreon to join our weekly Q&A discussion. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
And as always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.